say, all I do is scholarship. I ain't here to argue with nobody. They said, leading ultimately to the establishment of the state of Israel in the late 1960s. And I gave them the 1940s when the United States made Israel a country, a state, whatever. I showed you the picture yesterday. This is precedent. This is the Moorish Zionist temple of the Moorish Jews. This is in 1929 when I say we are one. You see the stole? Let me show you something, Moors. See, when I tell you something, we gotta stop. We gotta stop letting people that's not historians and understand who we are tell you who we're not. You see my stole, right? You see this, right? You see this, right? Okay, now I'm gonna show you something. I'm gonna show you something. When I show you, Moors, like, you got to know who you are. When you look in the back, look at Wentworth Matthew. Look at what they got on. Look what he have on. And I'm gonna show you stuff in this picture. You see what he got it on? He just wearing it different. Matter of fact, let me open it up and I'm gonna wear it exactly how we have it. Then I'm gonna show you. And then I'm gonna show you everything what's said in the picture. And I want you to research this stuff. So we get things twisted because somebody want to get you under their religious dogma and not letting you know certain things, you know, because they want you to be under them. Look at the picture. Look at the picture, Moors. Look at the brother in the middle. And then I'm going to show you something in the background. Okay, you see that, right? I'm going to show, look deep. Look in the back. Look in the background. Look what's in the back. The American flag and what? That's our. Look, you see that? I know y'all see that. I know y'all see that. I mean, I don't even know what we sitting up here arguing for. I really don't. It's hot. I gotta take this off. I don't get it, Moors. They laughing at us. Everybody are. You arguing with some brother call himself a Hebrew Israelite. I'm telling you, he just don't know that is one. He using all letters. If you say you a Hebrew Israelite, well, you should know that it never was that letter in the Hebrew alphabet. You a Israelite. And our Moorish history tell us that's your brother. I mean, come on. And if you a Moor, you know this. If you study Moor science, you know this. That's why I be laughing like, man, no, I don't know what you talk about, Mo. No, I don't. When Moor be making stuff, I don't know. So let's finish. But established of the state of Israel in the late 1960s. Ashkenazi Jews number some 11 million, about 84% of the world Jewish population. The Jewish Encyclopedia. Khazars, a non-Semitic, Asiatic, Mongolian tribal nation who emerged in Eastern Europe about the 1st century, who were converted as an entire nation to Judaism in the 7th century by expanding Russian nation, which absorbed the entire Khazar population, and who accounted for the presence in Eastern Europe of the great numbers of Yiddish-speaking Jews in Russia, Poland, Lithuania, Galata, Bessarabia, and Romania. All Europe. Come on, man. The Encyclopedia Judaica, Judaica, 1972. Khazars, a national group of general Turkic type, independent and sovereign in Eastern Europe between the 7th and 10th century CE. During part of the time, the leading Khazars professed Judaism in spite of the negligible information of an archaeological nature. The presence of Jewish groups and the impact of Jewish ideas in Eastern Europe are considerable. During the Middle Ages, groups have been mentioned as migrating to Central Europe from the East, often have been referred to as Khazars, thus making it impossible to overlook the possibility that they originated from within the former Khazar Empire. The Universal Jewish Encyclopedia. The primary meaning of Ashkenaz and Ashkenazim in Hebrew in Germany and Germans, this may be due to the fact that the home of the ancient ancestors of the Germans is Medea, which is the biblical Ashkenaz. The Krauss, the cross, is of the opinion that in the early medieval ages, the Khazars were sometimes referred to as Ashkenazim. About 92% of all the Jewish, or approximately 14,500, are Ashkenazim. Let's do some research. You don't got to listen to me. The New Groller Encyclopedia. These are their books and their pen. The Khazars, a Turkic people, created a commercial and political empire that dominated substantial parts of South Russia during much of the 7th century. During much of the 7th through 10th centuries. During the 8th century, the Khazars' aristocracy, or their gang, or their group, or their king, were converted to Judaism. So when the king converts, we know what happens. The Khazars established their capital at Itil, or Atil, A-T-I-L, or I-T-I-L. In the Volga Delta, I'm just touching history, in the Volga Delta, and for 4 centuries thereafter, this Jewish empire held the balance of power between the Christian Byzantine Empire and the Muslim Caliphate. You can't get mad at me. And when I said that, some brother asked me, do I be watching the conscious community? And he was asking me about some dude, and I'm like, man, I'm sorry, I really don't be on that. And he was saying some brother was talking about whatever, and he was bringing out truth and things. And I say, well, why can we be mad or if a person's saying things or showing things? So what I'm saying is history reveals all. We don't come from a mad space. I'm not coming from no side. I'm giving you history, a history that anybody can chase, anybody can trace. That's why in organized religion, they don't want you to research. They don't want you to study. They don't want you to ask questions. More as we do. Because we stand on our square. So like I said, let me reiterate, in the Volga Delta and for 4 centuries thereafter, this Jewish empire held the balance of power between the Christian, Byzantine Empire and the Muslim Caliphate. We got to understand, family, back during that time when Muhammad walked the earth, it was under that empire. He married Khadijah, which was under the Roman Catholic. Her cousin Wergor was a high Roman priestess. You don't have to listen to me. You can do this is easy research. The Hebrew Israelites, that's why I be laughing. They be loving to quote things. I said, have you read the book of Gad and Seer? You don't have to listen to nothing I say. Because in the book of Gad and Seer, in your so-called books that they so-called kept away from you, that us Moors, we know them all. We know this history. That's why it's nothing to argue. It's nothing to argue. This is the ancient book of Gad, the Seer, referenced in 1 Chronicles 29 and 29 and alluded in 1 Chronicles 12 and 12 and Galatians 4 and 6. I'm going to highlight this and we're going to jump back into it. Written by Gad, seer of King David, about 1000 BC. This book of prophecy is recommended reading by the Bible, just like the book of Yasher, not the book of Jasher. I have it up there. Okay, I get it. Like I said, man, it's so much, man, that we don't have. Like here, the book of Yasher, that's referenced in Joshua 10:13, 2 Samuel 1 and 18, and 2 Samuel and 2 Timothy 3 and 8. When it said, didn't you read this in the book of Yasher? It's in the Bible that y'all love to read. But anyway, listen to this. This is recommended by reading the Bible, but was never included in the canon. It was thought to have been lost over the millennium ago. The book of Gad, Nathan, Ajah, Shemani, and Adu are referenced to as the Lost Five. This long lost book included 2 revealing sermons given by King David. We have a prophecy that outlines the end times beginning with the rapture, the 7-year tribulation, and the establishment of Christ's millennial reign. More intriguing than that, it actually reveals who Mystery Babylon is and how it tries to destroy the Hebrews through a union with Islam. And when I say Hebrews, it's Hebrew Israelites. They say Jews. You got to understand the wordplay. Through a union with Islam. Both groups have different replacement theology religions. There are also two discussions on how the law of Moses viewed Gentiles, blah, 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 blah. When I tell brothers, words mean things. When I say anti, what do you think anti mean? Anti mean replacement. So simple. No, but Drew Ali couldn't give it all. He said, if I can get y'all to think, you can do something. He gave them names because they were the name that you was widely accepted to you. Ancient book of Yasher. The ancient book of Yasher is one of the books that exists. It's referenced in Joshua 10 and 13, 2 Samuel, and 2 Timothy 3 and 8. You don't got to listen to me. You got to listen to me. That's why I said, Moors, when you part of a real temple that I had here, and Moors wasn't paying, they were just coming with their own rhetoric, it's established the right way. I say, if you're going to be coming to the temple a while, you're going to nationalize through Chicago. You're part of my temple here in Arizona, and you are more wherever you go. But see, Moors don't want to study. Most of the Moors never read the Circle Quran or the Divine Creed. We don't want to study. We want to say, oh man, I'm down with civics. Excuse. But anyway, they created a commercial and political empire that dominated substantial parts of South Russia during much of the 7th through the 10th centuries. Okay, I gave you that. Okay. The fortified Khazar city of Sarkil, Sarkil, on the lower Don River was built with Byzantine help and served as crosswords to Central Asia. The Khazars controlled many of the trade routes to the Orient. Some of the Rahamites, Radhanites, which were Jewish merchants from Gaul, for example, Moors, were accustomed to crossing the Khazar Empire while traveling to and from China and India. During the late 10th and early 11th centuries, an alliance of Byzantines and Russians broke the power of the Khazar in the Crimea. In 965, Svyatolav, Svyatoslav the First, he was the Duke of Kiev, Kiev, decisively defeated the Khazar army. Further to the east, new waves of Turkic invaders overran the remains of the Khazar state, Moors. Come on, man, we're just teaching. The Bible, what we like to read. I said we got to make everything right. That the Khazar, the Ashkenaz, the Jews are the sons of Japhet, not Shem. Now these are the generations of the sons of Noah, Shem, Ham, Japheth, and unto them were the sons born after the flood, the sons of Japheth, the sons of Gomer, Ashkenaz. That's in Genesis 10, 1 and 3. This ain't me. Therefore, the Bible proved that the Ashkenaz Jews, Europeans, Khazars, are not the descendants of Shem and cannot be Semite. Kim Yarit, or Kim Yarit, Kimyarite, king, adopts Judaism and converts his army and people. Kim Yarit, or Himyarite. See Sabine's Jewish Encyclopedia, page 403. What did I say? See the Sabeans, the Jewish Encyclopedia, page 403. Sabine's, Sabeans, the inhabitants of the ancient kingdom of Sheba in southeastern Arabia, known from the Bible, classical writers, and native inscriptions. The genealogies of Genesis give 3 pedigrees of Sheba, Moors. The eponymous ancestor of the Sebans, who is variously termed the sons of Rama, Raamah, and the grandson of Cush. That can be found in Genesis chapter 10, verse 7, 1 Chronicles chapter 1 and 9. Compare that. Compare that, Moors. Ezekiel 27, 22, Ezekiel 38 and 13, the son of Joktan, or Joktan, Joktan, and a great-great-grandson of Shem. Genesis 10, 28, 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 22. Who else? 3, the sons of Joksan, and a grandson of Abraham by Keturah, Keturah. What you saying, Brother Bay? Research Genesis 25, verse 3. Research 1 Chronicles chapter 1, verse 32. I can go all day. There seem, therefore, to have been 3 stocks of Sebans, one in Africa. Compare the Ethiopian city of Saga, mentioned by Strabo, Strabo, Geography, page 77, and the other 2 in Arabia. Come on, Moors. Come on, Moors. Y'all should be saying Islam. Y'all should be saying Ashe. So I'm going to give you some more history. We're going to outline some stuff. The Outline of History by H.G. Wells. Write this down. It is highly probable that the bulk of the Jews' ancestors never lived in Palestine at all, which witnesses the power of historical assertion over fact. Which witnesses the power of historical assertion over fact. You can assert anything, but that doesn't mean it's fact. That's why when I say in a court of law, you got to prove things. I don't give a dang what you think or how you feel. I could care less. I could care less about what you said about that black stuff. I could care less. That's not nationality. Yes, it's beautiful, but it ain't a nationality. Flat out. Flat out, man. And we know that's true. And if you're going around saying you're African American, split yourself. If you're African American, where you do a past citizenship? You can't just go to Africa. You got to ask somebody to get a passport. And if you're from Africa, where? Where part? Where? That's a continent. Where? Where? You ain't African American. Flat out, man. We're talking about international law, man. We don't have to agree with all politicians, but Obama was telling you something. He told you the right of indigenous people. You have a right of a nationality and a right to change it. He told you the right of indigenous people. He told you the rights of the children, and y'all not paying attention. He was telling you, somewhat noble Drew Ali was telling you, if I can get you to think, you can save yourself. But we don't. We want to argue of who we are and who we not. With some Hebrew Israelites on the corner, with this, with some Hotep, with this, talk about this conscience. That's niggardly stuff. That ain't nothing. Following is the story of the conversion of a tribe of people in Russia to Judaism, and is on the origin of more than 95% of the Jews of Eastern Europe. Facts are facts. Research their pen by Benjamin Friedman. Excuse me, family. Without a complete and accurate knowledge of the origin and history of the Jews in Eastern Europe, it is quite impossible for, I ain't gonna say more, I'm gonna say yeah, for Moors and these so-called Christians, whoever you want to, whatever you saying that you are. I hope you're not saying that you're Christian, because then you under certain codes. But to intellectually or intelligently understand the harmful influence that these so-called groups, the Jews, have exerted for 10 centuries. This is their pen. You will probably be astonished, as many Christians were years ago. And we got to talk about dispensation when I say Christian, because it's so much teaching that we have to build up on. It's so much building that we have to do. That's why I say more you must study, because it's a type of everything. Remember that, type. But Christians were years ago when I electrified the nation with the first publication by me of the facts disclosed by my many years of research. And this is the history, this is the pen, this is the jurist and researcher into the origin and the history of the Jews in Eastern Europe. My many years of intensive research established beyond the question of any doubt, contrary to the generally accepted belief held by Christians, that the Jews in Eastern Europe at any time in their history in Eastern Europe were never the legendary lost 10 tribes of the Bible lore. This their pen, Morris. That historic fact is introvertible. That's why they want you to use the Bible, and they want you to use their Bible based off the history, and don't want you to go with history. I'm telling you, because they were writing themselves in the history books. And when you read it in Maccabees, when you read all that, it's tell you that the heathen, the Gentile, tried to whitewash themselves in the history books. Some stuff of that you have to interpret. We got to remember, we not the only people on the earth. Before it was a people. It was only one type of people on this earth. And that was old blood type. Come on, man. Y'all know I'm telling the truth. Relentless research established as equally true that the Jews in Eastern Europe at no time in their history could be correctly regarded as the direct lineal descendants of the legendary lost 10 tribes of the Bible lore. The Jews in Eastern Europe is modern history cannot legitimately point to a single ancient ancestor who ever set even a foot on the soil of Palestine in their era of the Bible history. Ain't nothing to argue about. I break that Book of Mormon down. Joseph Smith knew what he was doing. He got that book from the View of the Hebrews. I'm telling you. And then when you talk to people, they get mad. Oh, yes, he did. All the history come from the View of the Hebrews. Where is that book? Where I got it? I got it over here somewhere. Let me see. I just want to show you this, and we're going to keep it pushing. I don't even know where it's at. Is that it? No, that ain't it. The View of the Hebrews. Where is that book at? Ah, here we go. You can research this. This is where a lot of information come from. You do the research yourself. You ain't got to get mad at me. You do the research yourself, man. Do the research yourself. You're supposed to build bridges, not walls. Research also revealed that the Jews in Eastern Europe were never Semites, are not Semites, nor can they ever be regarded as Semites at any future time by any stretch of the imagination. Exhaustive research also irrefutably rejects as a fantastic fabrication the generally accepted belief by Christians that the Jews in Eastern Europe are the legendary chosen people, so very vocally publicized by the Christian clergy from the pulpits. How I know this? Moors, I keep telling y'all, I have a master's degree from Grand Canyon University. Master's of Art in Christian Leadership. This is what they try to promulgate. I just told you, I stood on my square. Them Europeans was mad with that pseudo-academia. They were mad. I don't make nothing up, man. I don't have to make nothing up to my brothers. I went in the fire. I came out on my square, told them who I was, like, yeah, I hear you, but let me show you something else. Yeah, they were crying. But you can't tell me that story. And the pen and the commendation says something totally different. All this ain't nothing, this ain't what they hear. This stuff is written. Words mean things. They tell you it's pseudo. When they call it pseudo Dionysus. I be telling you the Novus Testamentum. I'm telling you, if you research the history of those books, it'll show you what's B to the S. And when you stand on your square and you prove the point with their pen, it's nothing that they can say. Yeah, they were upset. They were highly upset. But they can't stop. They can't stop righteousness. You see? And that's what I tell brothers and sisters. They can't stop it. When I say scholarship, when I do lectures, and I say only professors be there, and they say, well, yeah, you only speaking truth, I use their pen. A lot of this stuff, they knew you weren't going to study. They knew you were going to adapt to Christianity. They knew that stuff. They knew you weren't going to listen to your brother tell you that you have a nationality, and I'll be asking brother, well, what's your nationality? Who are you, Christian? I'll be laughing. I'm like, man, whatever, let's finish. Relentless research established and equally true that the Jews, okay, I gave you that. All right, whoever said, okay, I gave you that. Okay, it started the research, okay, I gave you that. Now, get your pens, because you got to write this stuff down for yourself and research it. The American People's Encyclopedia for 1954 at 15-292 records the following in reference to the Khazars, and I quote, in the year 740 AD, the Khazars were officially converted to Judaism. A century later, they were crushed by the incoming Slavic-speaking people and were scattered over Central Europe, where they were known as Jews. From the above, we can clearly see that the Jews fully understood their Khazarian heritage, as the third edition of the Jewish Encyclopedia for 1925 records, and I quote, Khazars, a people of Turkish origin, whose life and history are interwoven with the very beginnings of the history of the Jews in Russia. That's Europe, Russia. The kingdom of the Khazars were firmly established. Okay, I'm going to stop because you got to log back on. We got to do part 2. So I'm finna end it, log back on. Oh, this is getting good. I ain't even got into the lecture. It's going to be good.